Welcome, everybody out there in the internet land, the space of the digital time days, to episode 72 of Sis and Big Pops Culture. As always, I am Todd Turner, Big Pops, also known to some and few as Mosaic Fan Art. With
more
me,
than few.
as always, more than few. Several. And with me, as always, is the one, the only, the lovely.
Hi, sweet friends. I am Sis, aka Hannah Jo, and together we are an adult daughter and father duo. We dive into all things geek, nerd, and fandom. Every episode is family friendly.
I love that music. It is so good. It's great.
If you listen hard enough, you can imagine it happening right now.
If you're watching this live. Yeah, because for those of you who are listening via the podcast mode, we do record this in front of a live studio audience, which
Hello,
right now I think
studio.
is just Dave.
Hi, Dave.
For hopping on. And Hannah, tell everybody what we do here.
Yes, friends. Hey, welcome to our little corner of the internet. We're glad that you're here. What we do is we are going to chitter chat about nerd news. We're going to talk some about what we've been watching here recently, what we've been binging per se. We're going to hear from Pops about his pull list. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. He'll tell us all about it, or I will. We go back and forth. And we typically review a movie and a comic. Today, we are reviewing the Disney movie John Carter. It's just John Carter, which is just the lamest.
Don't worry, we'll get into that.
We have opinions.
We don't mean the movie's lame.
Oh, no. We love this movie.
We love the movie.
We have opinions.
We'll talk about it. Yeah,
and the DC trade available on Amazon, Strange Adventures.
Yep. So first of all, we hop into nerd news. Insert typewriting sounds.
You're so much better at it than me.
Well, and we don't even have typewriters anymore. So we just have keyboards. So
clack, clack,
I don't even know
clack,
what that's
clack.
Clack. Oh, yeah, it's funny, especially when your mom does it when she has bracelets on, and you can just hear the bracelets
jingle,
clink
jingle,
the
jingle,
thing.
and the fingernails.
It's jingle, jingle.
I have
clickety, clickety.
I have long nails, and so it's clack, 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 clack.
Clack, 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 clack. Yes. So Hannah.
Yes.
What have you got for me? Nerd
okay,
news-wise?
not much.
Okay, that's fine.
But I have
Only what's
watched
interesting to you.
quite a few new movies since we've spoken last.
Oh, new movies.
Trevin and I watched 4 movies in the theater in the past 2 weeks.
All right. So this is news to us. What did you watch?
Well, I do have pieces of news, but I also wanted to tell you that I've watched movies if you wanted to know what I watched and if we wanted to Rotten Raspberry any of them, but I don't think we do.
Okay.
The handsome man that plays Superman, whose name I've forgotten.
The new guy.
Yes.
The new guy or the old guy?
But not the new guy, the old guy.
Henry
Cavill.
Yes.
Henry Cavill? Cavill.
I don't know. Henry.
Anyways, he played The Witcher on Netflix.
And he was in
Mission Impossible movies.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he is no longer being in The Witcher. Instead, Liam Hemsworth is going to be Geralt in The Witcher.
The daggone Hemsworths are everywhere.
They have posted photos of what he looked like versus what sweet Henry Cavill looked like. And the women of Instagram have opinions.
I'm guessing they like Henry.
They miss Henry.
You know what? It seems like poor Henry keeps getting the shaft.
He does. He keeps getting... I wonder if there's something going on there we don't know about.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe he's hard to work with.
Is this one? Which Hemsworth is this? Is this
Liam,
Thor?
the young one?
This is
Gale.
I volunteer for tribute. That one?
Yeah, Gale.
Okay, gotcha. All right. I wasn't
and
sure.
The Nicholas Sparks movie with Miley Cyrus.
All right. Okay.
Where the dad we're at the beach. Anyways.
Okay.
And another piece of Henry Cavill nonsense. He was in
Mhm.
Mission Impossible, which I watched all of the
Right.
Mission Impossible movies in like 2 days because Trevin wanted to watch all of them before we went to watch
And did you go
the
see
new
the new
Mission
one?
Impossible. We did. That was one of the new movies that we saw.
Okay.
Trevin wanted to go see it as quick as possible while it was in
I think
IMAX.
he's right now really big on Tom
He's
Cruise
loving Tom Cruise right now.
because he likes the daggone
He's
Top
obsessed
Gun.
with Maverick.
right. So did Tom Cruise do a thank you for coming to the studio?
He didn't, but we went on Saturday and not on Friday.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know
All
if
right.
that was, but interesting. Anyways, never mind.
What were you going to say?
I was going to go into a really long spiel that was going to take a very long time to talk about nothing. And so I
Okay.
decided not to.
That's all right. Well, what else did you see?
Okay, we watched Sound of Freedom.
Oh, and I heard that's pretty hard to watch.
It is a
So
phenomenal movie. You go,
Sound
Dad.
of Freedom is about child trafficking, correct? Or just trafficking, human trafficking in general?
Child trafficking, but you forgot a word.
I don't know. Is this a word?
Yeah, it's
We're not
about
gonna
like
talk
it's-
about it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it because it's a
Right.
family
It's
friendly
a
podcast.
family friendly thing. But if you know, it's a
But-
very serious thing.
Yeah, it's a very serious movie. I think it's worth a watch. If it's in theaters near you, I would suggest going to watch it. You would learn a lot about a topic that maybe not a lot of Americans know about.
Mhm.
I do want to say it's very hard to watch. It's PG-13 for a reason. I would not take your children to go see it. And
Yes. Keep going. Keep going.
I would be
I'm
aware
thinking of
of
another movie you shouldn't take children to go see, but go ahead.
what you are and aren't. Apollo's
It's okay.
Apollo's in the kitchen sink.
Which is a cat.
He's in the I cried in the first
Okay.
5 minutes of watching the movie. I had sobbed the entirety of the first 5 minutes of the movie. Looked over to
Mhm.
my husband and told him that I might not be able to watch it.
Okay.
So it is, and I have a pretty good, like I can handle stuff like that. And I know a lot about those people because they're
Right.
near and dear to my heart. I love and pray
Right.
for them often. And yeah, it was
Okay.
heavy.
Got you. So that's heavy. Don't take kids.
Mm-mm.
Miriam saw Barbie.
Yeah.
And again,
Don't take
she
kids
said,
to see that.
don't take kids. It's PG-13 for a reason.
It's
You don't need to
PG-13.
take your 4-year-old daughter or your 8-year-old.
There was a child young enough to have and be satisfied by a kid's meal of popcorn sitting next to me during the Barbie movie.
You saw Barbie.
I did.
That was the other one you saw.
I saw
Okay.
Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Oh, you did the Barbenheimer thing.
We did
Our
Barbenheimer,
friend
and we
Dave
did
is watching and has not seen it yet. Miriam did too.
we
So-
watched both. And you know what? I liked Oppenheimer better.
Really? Miriam said, I think she liked it better as well. And it left her thinking about some things. My brother Micah saw it. And,
Oppenheimer?
and he had some opinions about Oppenheimer too. But yeah, there you go. All right,
it was Barbie was okay. Oppenheimer was
All right.
very good.
All right, there you go.
And
Well,
Oppenheimer is rated R. Do not take your children to go see that movie.
yeah, I heard there's a
There's
naked scene in it
Yeah,
with Florence Pugh.
multiple.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
Yeah.
There you
So
okay.
just be their websites. I'm not your mom. Do what you will. You may raise your
Right.
children how you like, and perhaps look on what are the websites that you know of, Daddy.
I can't remember the one we used to always go to.
Gotcha. Because I do know
There was
that
one
you
through
used to do
Focus
that.
on the Family,
Yeah.
and I don't even know if it's still around, but we used it all the time.
I know
It may still be around as far as I know, but I don't know.
Yeah, but there are for
Um,
sure websites. If that one's not there, there are for sure things that you can find to help you be an informed consumer.
All right. Do you have any more news?
Have you heard about how actors have joined the writer's strike?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they're
You
not
want
going
to
to
know
be
what
working
one
anyway.
of their big things is?
Who? The actors or the writers?
Yeah, the actors.
No. What is their big thing?
One of their big things is the use of AI.
Oh yeah, 100%. Are you kidding me? Yeah,
Like,
because if
they're-
they've got. Yeah,
You
they've
go.
got. Well, like if we have the right to use your likeness, then they don't even have to pay you anymore because we can have a computer do it for you. I mean, they pretty much did that. I watched the Flash scene where I talked about how Nicolas Cage was Superman in it. Well, they have Christopher Reeves appears in it as Superman. So that's 100% AI. And the girl that was in that terrible Supergirl movie, she appears in it as Supergirl. Remember how I said, let's watch that movie? And then I said, that movie's terrible. Let's not watch it. So
I was going to say no, because I didn't start that movie.
It was horrible.
Well, that's payback from when I watched that awful movie on Netflix.
Yeah, that Halloween.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Well, part of the reason that they're striking is because they want to be able to pay background actors for one day of work, scan their body.
Yes,
and
I saw that.
Then have you, I don't like that. The amount of shenanigans that they could have they own your body and your likeness at that point and can make you do something you would never consent to being a part of.
Right.
Or have you be in a film that you would say, I don't want to be in that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's spooky.
They could take a picture of me like in the movie theater watching a Thomas the Tank Engine movie. Although I might like that. I don't know. Anyway, I have seen that.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're sneaking stuff in like that, even for like book authors, saying that where they sign, saying that they can put their work into an AI computer generated software, and then they own anything that pops up through like Chat GPT or something like that.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't do any of the labor. I don't know.
It's coming to the point, Hannah, where you're not going to be able to trust any video you get, any telephone call you get.
Yay.
Start using code words.
Hey, I told a story about
for those of you listening, when we were
defecation or flatulence?
I think it might have been flatulence. Nathan's was colonoscopy. They would have to, if an adult was going to come do or pick up a child, one of our kids or whatever, no matter even if they knew them, if they didn't have the code word, they weren't allowed to go.
And you even went so far to say even police officers who come up and say, "Your mom told me to come." That you're supposed to
absolutely.
Come with me.
Anybody, if they didn't have the code word, and the best thing was when Nathan had this Joe average soccer mom have to say colonoscopy to pick him up from middle school once. That was great.
Code words.
All right.
But
so I've got a few pieces.
Okay, pop off.
So our friend Dave in the chat has been watching. He said Strange New Worlds. Well, I have two, but here's the deal. That's the Star Trek show that is absolutely fantastic.
You were talking about that.
It is so good. And they're having a musical episode. So I'm excited for that. And then again, going, really? That seems a little...
Always for a musical episode, Dad. Always.
I know. And I'm sure there'll be some reason why we have to do a musical episode. They'll be stuck in some strange new world that only can talk with music or something. But they're going to do a musical episode. And it's coming out soon. So, and not only that, they're doing a crossover with the animated series called Lower Decks, which is like an adult swim type Star Trek. And it's supposedly really, really good. I've watched just a few episodes and it's hilarious. So yeah, Strange New Worlds is going to do a musical episode. Can't wait for it.
Fun.
Did you see the One Piece trailer?
I didn't.
For Netflix.
Sorry, Apollo just jumped off a thing.
It is great.
Does it look good? We were worried about it last time you mentioned it.
But the trailer I watched looks just like the characters from the first 3 or 4 episodes I've watched. So I'm excited for it. I know it looks really good. I can't wait. And so if people want to get caught up, they can watch One Piece, the anime on Netflix. So Did I tell you that I was watching the anime? Did I tell you that I was watching it with we talked about that with subtitles,
yes.
And then we didn't, but they were weird because the subtitles were different.
Yes, because the subtitles and what they were saying, because you were watching it subbed and dubbed at the same time because you were working on Mosaic.
And it was different. It was crazy. It's something fun you should do once. Some comic book news, which I think is interesting, is that they are making a giant robot Hellboy comic book. It comes out in October. Hellboy is kidnapped. and his brain is plugged into this mecha Hellboy robot, and that robot is dropped onto an island with monsters, and he has to fight. I mean, it sounds outrageous, and I am totally in for it. So it's only going to be 3 issues, so you can watch. You can just collect all 3 issues. It starts in October.
That's
and
so fun.
It looks. I know it does look fun. And DC starting this fall is doing a monsters versus the Justice League. So it's like Godzilla, King Kong, Mothra, all these giant versus the Justice League, which I'm not sure how that would go. I think that Superman could just probably wipe them all out, and Batman
Laser vision.
Laser vision. Yeah. So yeah, there was that. They are creating new Adventure Time cartoons. They're going to premiere on Max August the 31st. But here's the deal. It's not Finn and Jake.
Is it Cat and
Fiona and Cake? It's a 10-episode Fiona and Cake specials, the new Adventure Time, and it starts August the 31st. So I'm here for it.
That's the way to do, like, to bring that type of stuff back, in my opinion, because one of the things I've been binging the Adventure Time. We're halfway through season 2. And it's just, they end it. It has an actual story arc. I know people think that it doesn't, but it does.
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. 10 episodes coming out August 31st. Yeah. Did I have more news? One more bit of news that was comic book related.
Okay.
DC has come out and said that they are making 2 new animated movies. One is The Watchmen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. And I don't understand why, first of all. Because they've got the Watchmen movie.
And the
and we have
TV
the
show.
Watchmen's TV show, which I doubt we'll ever get another season of.
Really?
And literally, there is what that's called an action comic it used to be on Prime, which you could watch every episode. So the Watchmen comic book series is 12 issues, and you could watch each. They sort of animated the comic book.
Oh, cool.
It's not really animated. It's hard to explain. You'd have to look at it to watch it. But that was really, really good, surprisingly good. So I don't know what they plan on doing with that. And not only that, they're also bringing an animated Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay. You like that one.
That's huge. That was like the first time that DC did this whole fruit basket upset. They combined all of their multiverses into one, and then they wiped out a whole bunch of superheroes, brought in new superheroes, killed off the Flash in it, killed off Supergirl in it, other superheroes died in it, and they brought in Blue Beetle and some other characters from Charlton Comics into their line then, but they're turning that into a movie. So I don't know if we need it or not.
Well, I hope it's good.
I do too. That's all my news. And hey, since we started talking about binging,
yeah,
what are you watching?
Okay, Adventure Time.
Right.
Doctor Who. The Pawns are no longer with us. We are now in Clara,
the Impossible Girl.
The Impossible Girl. I'm like, we go from the girl who waited to the Impossible Girl, and Trevin is like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm just like crying because the Pawns are gone, and they're my favorite.
Clara grew on me.
I know.
I didn't like her at first.
Well, who can hold a candle to Amy and Rory?
Yeah. That whole thing with the Centurion and watching the box and everything. And then the whole
Centurion.
Getting married. That was great.
The greatest adventure of all time. Yeah, so Doctor Who. I binged Undercover Underage, which is a TV show by Sosa. And
what's SOSA stand for? I don't know what that means.
SOSA is Safe from Abuse.
Okay.
And what they do is they provide education for parents about how children can be exploited through social media and the internet. And
So young people go undercover or no?
So adults
Older people go undercover as young
undercover as younger people
All right,
to
let's
catch
keep this
predators.
family friendly.
I did
Yeah.
just then.
I know,
Adults go
I know.
undercover as young people to catch predators.
Gotcha.
And
right.
it is, again, a hard thing to watch, but it's educational.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. So, but I watched all of them. Oh, it was so good. And I watched Avatar: Way of Water. It's on HBO Max and Disney
know.
Plus.
You'd already seen it, right?
Yes.
It's on both?
It's on both.
What? It's so long, it takes two streaming services to watch it.
Services to watch Avatar: Way of Water. And they
hilarious.
had some special features on Max. And later today, I'm going to see if the special features are different on Disney Plus.
Oh, wise choice.
And I've been watching Trevin play Skyward Sword.
I thought you finished it.
Oh, he finished Tears of the Kingdom. Skyward Sword is like the game that started this new Zelda timeline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it came out on the Wii.
See,
long time ago.
all my friends that love video games, I'm just Todd, I'll watch Turner, you know.
I'll watch. I love sitting there. I work on my little cross stitch and I say, have you done this? And he's like, I already been there, Hannah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
What about this side quest? That's hilarious. Hey, so what I've been binging, let me tell you.
I'm ready to write it down.
Good. I am caught up on Star Trek Strange New World.
Hey.
And there's one episode where Spock becomes human and can smell things now, because I didn't know this, but apparently Vulcans take nasal suppressants because they can smell everything so good, and humans smell a certain way. And so
they smell gross.
He goes, what is that amazing aroma? And Pike is like, it's called bacon. And he's like shoving bacon into his mouth. It's so funny. But anyway, that show is great. 2 thumbs up. I'm caught up on Secret Invasion, which is the Skrull show. And
is it good?
I'm liking it better and better.
Good.
Yes. So I think it only has like 1 or 2 episodes left. I'm also caught up. Okay, so Star Trek is on Paramount. Secret Invasion's on Disney Plus. I'm caught up on The Foundation season 2.
I'm going to wait until they all come out and then watch them all at the same time.
I can't stand it. I'm done. I'm sorry. The first season made sense. I thought it was really good. This is like, I don't know. I just didn't much care for it. I made it through 2. The second episode ended and I was like, you got to be kidding me. This just seems so tropey. And I'm like, they're trying to hang on to what Asimov did by introducing some of the same characters, but they're introducing them in a way that it is different than, I don't know.
What you had mentioned to me when you watched the first season is that if you have no idea about what Foundation is supposed to be, that it is a good sci-fi
and it probably,
TV show.
Yes. And I guess the first season really, as a Foundation fan, felt like, hey, they're trying to,
this is just not at all that. This is just
no
same character names, but
well, the problem with the Foundation books is that there are not the same characters. Once you get through 6 or 7 chapters of a book, a whole new character set, because you're going ahead 100 years.
You're going through generations.
200 years. You're going through generations. Well, in this, they're trying to make a cohesive group of actors. So they're doing a way that they jump forward in years, like whether they slept through so many years or somebody's a computer program, so they're continuing.
I get that. I get that as like a storytelling method. But I don't know.
Really brought up. I get it. But I don't know. Anywho.
Well, as a person who never read the book, I enjoyed the first season. I haven't finished it because I don't like things to be over.
Gotcha.
Which Trevin is learning and is very mad at me because I've not let us finish Clarkson's Farm.
Watch Station 11. Station 11.
I can't. I watched the first episode for the podcast, Dad, but
it's so good, Hannah. It's so good. Has a great ending. Okay, but I did binge an entire series of a new show.
What?
The Silo on Apple Plus. I binged every episode. The Silo is set in a dystopian future where everyone lives in a silo underground. There's like 10,000 people living there, maybe 140 floors. There's a hierarchy, like the people who are down below working in the maintenance. There are people that there's like the mayor that's elected. There are rules about the silo. They have one view screen that views outside the silo because the world is destroyed. And it's to show them when the world, it's sort of like Noah's Ark. Like you look out the window, oh, look, the planet's good. We can go back out. So, but what happens is over time, the camera gets fuzzy and blurry because no one goes outside. However, if you say, I want to go outside,
They have to let
that's
you.
what you have to go. And they give you a little wool scouring pad, and they ask you to clean. That's your job. And everyone says, I'm not cleaning when they go outside. Everyone always cleans.
Cleans what?
So cleans the camera so that people can look outside.
Aw.
So this follows a police officer and his wife, who surprisingly were the two most popular, the people that I knew.
Really?
And after the second episode, they're gone.
Oh, man.
So it really follows this young girl who is a maintenance who becomes the sheriff. And she tries to find out the truth behind what's going on in the silo.
Gotcha. It feels like a mixture of Defiance, that sci-fi TV show that I liked, and Snowpiercer.
Yeah, a little bit like that. But now it's not as the cast system is not as pronounced.
Okay.
Like Snowpiercer, it's not that way at all.
It is a
Everyone-
pronounced cast system in Snowpiercer.
Everyone has a specific role that they have to play in this. And in this,
Tilda Swinton.
and the star of this is the mom on Dune. Is
Really?
Lady Jessica. That's the star of the show.
She also is in Mission Impossible, and
okay.
she is Never Enough Girl in Great Showman.
So this is based off of a fan fiction creation on Amazon's self-publishing thing.
That's so cool.
Is it crazy or what?
That's so cool. Well,
Yeah.
they Kindle Unlimited and Kindle Publishing has made it so that indie authors can get their books out without having to go through and find a publisher. Like anyone can, you can self-publish a book on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah. So anyway, Silo, it is definitely set up for a second.
Fun.
Season.
Is there a solid ending though? Because oftentimes when stuff is set up, okay,
but
good.
it's like a oh my gosh ending. You're like,
okay.
I then had to go and do research on the whole entire series, so I know what happened.
Did you read the book?
Series. No, but I'm thinking about getting it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
And I think they did some graphic novels too, so I'm going to check into that.
Sick. Okay, right on.
What's next, Hannah?
Pop's pull list.
Oh, we should have our own music for that. Pop's pull list.
That sounded like Perry that sound Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. That's what it sounded. That's what you just sounded like.
Doofenshmirtz, best cartoon father.
Yeah, he loved Vanessa. He was working hard.
Doofenshmirtz, I believe,
He was
is the best cartoon
working
father.
hard to make sure
Nigel Thornberry. Yeah, I still like Doofenshmirtz. All right, tell everybody what we do now, Hannah.
So, hey, Pops is going to share his pull list with us. If you don't know what a pull list is, don't worry. It is a list of comics that you give to the proprietor of your local comic book shop that they then pull, get it, from their inventory while they're placing new comics on the shelves. That way, when you go in, you can have a stack that has been curated by you for you so that you can keep up with the comics you're collecting. What Pops is going to do is he's going to share one with one of the big two, DC and Marvel. He's going to share one that's an independent. So IDW, Boom Studios, Image, one of them's typically. It could be something else, but he likes Dark Horse. And then he's going to share with us a new number one. So if you're like, you know what, I want to go to a local comic book shop, but I don't know where to start. All of these numbers go up to like 805. Don't worry, he's going to give you. That's my qualm. He's going to give you a new one to start collecting, and he has a book of the week.
Book of the week. Oh. Well, let's just hop in. The first one is my DC book, and I talked about this, I think, last time, that they are doing a summer event called Night Terrors, where everyone in the world is dreaming and having nightmares. So this is the
but
official...
it's Knight Terrors.
Knight, yeah, like Batman. Yeah, Knight.
Dark Knight.
Yes. So this is the issue 1 of the main series of Knight Terrors. And this follows Deadman, who I talked about the last time, who's a fantastic, I love the character. He is a acrobat who was killed, and anyway, he can inhabit other people's bodies. We talked about this the last time on the podcast, that he inhabited Batman's body. So Deadman is in Batman's body, and he is trying to find a way to defeat this character called Insomnia, who we find out was created by, we had this thing, previous event called Lazarus Planet, where the Lazarus Pit, which is where Ra's al Ghul goes to get resurrected. So if you've watched any of those, you would know what the Lazarus Pit is.
Spooky.
Yes. So the Lazarus Planet spewed Lazarus juice everywhere, and he created this character.
Lazarus juice.
Yes. So Deadman goes and gets a sample of this Lazarus juice that Batman had kept, because Batman keeps everything.
Batman, right? Yeah, he's a hoarder for sure.
He's
a doomsday prepper, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, he's the ultimate doomsday prepper.
If I had to, it would be doomsday prepper is the title I'd give him.
So he uses it to resurrect the original Sandman character named Wesley Dodds. Do you remember Wesley Dodds, the old guy who from Kingdom Come?
Yes.
The preacher would go visit him.
Yes.
And then he ended up dying, and he presides over his funeral. He resurrects him. So we've now have a zombie Sandman going to team up with the Batman Deadman.
Okay, so this is issue 1, Night Terrors. Like, what is the title?
That's what it's called, Night Terrors, issue 1. It's the original series. It's the main series. So yeah.
Dave made a good joke.
Of course, Batman's a doomsday prepper. He's met Doomsday several times.
Oh, man.
Dave said in our,
oh, man. True. I walked into that one.
You did. Bam. So my Marvel book is Scarlet Witch issue 6. I really have liked the Scarlet Witch book. She owns a little shop that has the last door, that when people walk through the door, it's their last resort when they come into her shop. So she has to help this person battle evil Skrulls. Timely, huh? Because Skrulls are everywhere now.
That wasn't planned. Just kidding. Of course it was.
So here's the deal. One of her sons, anybody who's watched the Doctor Strange terrible movie knows she had 2 fake sons. Well, they're real in this universe now. One of her sons is married to the king of the Skrull/Kree Empire, because the Skrull-Kree Empire are combined, because the character used to be known as the Hulkling is half Kree, half Skrull. So he's their king. So she goes and visits her son and his husband, and they go to help fight with this girl who needs help to defeat these Skrulls. And it has some good mother-son moments. The best part is the end of the book, when she returns home and Darcy is there saying she took care of everything. Oh, and by the way, I know you've been having trouble knowing about this pendant, this metal pendant that you have, but there's this hot silver fox who's here in the corner who knows so much about metal. You want to guess who that is?
Her brother? No. Yes.
Magneto.
No.
Her father. So, yeah.
Man.
So we're going to get Magneto in the next.
We read those.
We did read those. It was so good.
We read one.
Which, by the way, remember the Lockjaw, the dog that can bring people in and out?
Yeah.
Do you remember I talked about those Pet Avengers?
Yeah.
So they're doing a series Lockjaw gets kidnapped by Kraven the Hunter, who is a villain of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And all the other pet Avengers team up to go rescue Lockjaw. So this is going to be like a 4 or 5 episode
Crypto.
4 issue. Yeah. So no, Crypto is from DC. Crypto's the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Lockjaw's the Inhumans dog that can transport people.
You're right. I'm wrong.
Okay, so my independent is from Image. It is Radiant Black.
You
issue
like Radiant
25.
Black?
I do. This is a really good
Issue 25?
book. Issue 25. It is starting a new arc in the series called The Catalyst War. So this would be a good jumping on point for some people. So we get some of this book. There's been 2 men who have
Hey, Dad. You froze again on my end.
held this patent. They make that's a tough decision, and they choose. Yeah, they make a choice at the end, and it sets.
Will you
up
say it
for this-
again? I'm sorry. You froze on my end, which means I probably didn't get recorded.
Oh, okay, sure. So in the Radiant Black, the 2 characters, there was one character who was Radiant Black, and then he was hurt really bad, and then
Mhm.
his best friend became Radiant Black, and now that person came out of his coma, and they've been sharing the power, and the power is causing trouble.
I was going to
So
say,
they
I bet
have
it
to
doesn't like that.
It doesn't like it, and then they have to choose, and it's a hard decision, and they choose it in this issue, and you get to see some of their history, how they became friends, and what makes them friends, and then they make that choice together in this book. So
I have a couple questions about comics that you have mentioned, and I want to know if they have wrapped up or if
Sure.
they're ongoing.
sure.
The Genie Bar.
Oh, 8 billion genies.
Yeah.
It is finished.
Was it good?
We think.
Okay.
Yes, it was good. I
Okay.
like how it ended.
7
Yeah,
Secrets.
uh-huh. Seven Secrets has ended completely.
And it was
Completely
good?
Done. Very good.
I want to finish that one.
We
I
should
think.
read the whole thing and talk about it.
We
could
should.
just
We
do a
read the
podcast
beginning
on
of
that.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Along,
Seven
like
Secrets.
when I lived in,
hmm
like a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. 7 Secrets is done too. Very
Okay.
good. All right.
I'm done.
Okay,
Thank
so
you. I've been
my
thinking
new-
about those 2.
That's all right. My new number 1 is called Big Game, and it's by Image. This is by Mark Millar, which a lot of people love and hate him.
What does he do?
He created Kick Bleep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So he has his own. He also did Jupiter.
Jupiter
I don't
Ascending.
know. No, not that thing. No. Something else. Jupiter, something else. But anyway, he has his own line of comics within Image Comics. And I've talked about the book Ambassadors that I really like. That was his book. So this is this starts a brand new series where I guess I'm thinking it's all of his characters in it.
Cool.
But the villains are going to try to kill all of the superheroes. They're
Oh.
banding together. And that's what it is. That's why it's called Big Game, because they're going hunting for superheroes.
Big
so
game hunters.
I think it did. I was able to pick it up and not knowing all these characters and felt like it was okay, like it was good. And I'm going to continue to get it. But now
Cool.
I do have familiarity with Kick Bleep and the Ambassadors. So that helped, I think.
Gotcha.
But it looks like a very interesting book. All right. You ready for my book of the week?
Book of the week is the book of the week. Yes.
Okay. This book of the week is a little bit different.
Mm.
Okay. This is by a company called Fourth Wall Productions. This is an independent, creator owned, published comic book.
Okay.
It's called Ace Blade.
It's an independent, creator owned comic.
Yes.
Fourth Wall Productions, Ace Blade. Is this issue 1?
This is issue 1, but there are, I believe, 10 books out.
Okay.
I bought the first 6 of season 2 is what he called it. So, this is written by a guy named Danny Quick and Christopher Hollers and penciled by Von Remont. And it follows a boxer in Vegas whose buddy was wanted him to throw the fight. So you can guess where this is going. He didn't throw the fight. So him and his buddy were taken out to the desert to be killed. And they shot our main character, didn't kill him. And you can guess where it goes from there. So I just want to let everybody know that there are comic books that aren't out there from the big, huge groups that are just individual artists and writers trying to create their own comic book. And this is one of them. You don't have to, I mean, you could pick this up if you want. I got like a special, honestly, here's the deal. I bought this bundle for $60 after tax with shipping. And he's having an issue with his purchasing through Instagram. And he sent the books to me and I haven't even paid him. So I told him, I said, listen, it keeps saying pending. And I'm like,
just let me Venmo you.
I said, let me just Venmo you. And he goes, just wait, because it'll continue to pend for who knows how long.
And then it'll cancel.
Yeah. And then
that's so cool.
So, yeah.
There is,
absolutely.
Trevin has bought a book from a place like that. The Ripaverse. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yes. I've heard of that. Yeah. I haven't read them.
He has Isom #1 and he got like an original signed copy and then
this is signed. This copy's signed.
Yeah. He bought one of the first printing signed copies of that because he was like, this might be something someday. And I was like, okay. Hey. And then he got he just ordered the second printing of the first one. But I don't even know if they've come out with a second comic yet.
I know. So it's something to watch.
Their fulfillment is in Gallatin.
Oh, really?
They ship worldwide from Gallatin.
That's crazy.
Isn't that funny?
Crazy. I know it. Oh, gosh.
That's so
anyway,
cool.
Hannah.
Yes.
That's it. So let's talk about a movie.
I love this movie.
Go ahead. Tell us what we're doing.
Okay, so we are going to review. Okay, so Dad was like, why don't we review John Carter? And I was like, love that. That movie, nobody knows anything about it. It's a great movie. I remember when it came out. I remember that we went to Winchester because they weren't even showing it at our home theater. We had to drive to go see it. So it didn't get great reception. And then Dad was like, ooh, and let's read this comic too. And I was reading the comic in the car on the way to small group. And I was like, I get why Dad picked this comic. This makes sense. I get it.
Absolutely.
I didn't know anything about Strange Adventures before we started. So they are connected. So John Carter follows a man who is in 18th century, 19th
Civil
century.
War.
Yeah.
Civil
War era, America. And he stumbles into a cave and accidentally transports himself to Mars. But Mars is actually is inhabited by intelligent life beings that are humanoid.
And yes. Yeah. And some more than others.
Some far more humanoid than others. And he unwittingly welcomes himself into the civil war that they're having on. I didn't realize that. It's two civil wars happening at the same time.
Yes.
There's a civil war happening on Mars. I had not connected those two dots.
Yeah.
And he is, yes.
Yeah.
He becomes his bone density is different on Mars, and so he can jump very high and he can punch
really hard.
And he's already a cavalryman, so he's a soldier, and so he already knows how to hold himself and carry himself well, and he becomes pivotal in this civil war.
Yeah. So this movie has been out since 2012, so it's not like we're spoiling it. Although everyone at my work today, no one had ever heard of the movie.
Yeah. No one, it didn't even come to 10th frame, Dad, is what I'm telling you. We had to go all the way to Clark County to watch it.
I know, that's crazy. So,
in that lame little theater, had the.
Yes, he calls John Carter the first superhero because he did have superpowers when he went to Barsoom. Yeah.
Which is Mars.
Let's just get a little bit of
Martian.
I want to give a little bit of lowdown on this movie, first of all. So it cost $350 million to make, and they made $200 million. It was considered an absolute flop.
It was such a flop. Well, they named it John Carter.
Why did it not work?
Because they didn't advertise it well. They named it poorly. This is why Princess and the Frog flopped. Even though they didn't. It's considered a flop by Disney standards. It didn't flop. They made their money back and then some, but they didn't make a lot back. And that's why all of the Disney princess movies there's no princess in the title, right? Rapunzel is Tangled.
Right.
And
Frozen.
The Ice Princess is Frozen, right?
Yes.
So
I get it.
So
except for Snow White, but that was in 1930. So
yeah. And like The Little Mermaid, right? So it's not like the princess, it's not the mermaid princess. It's the, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so
yeah, but The Little Mermaid is literally off of a book.
Yeah. But I think naming was poor. I think it should have been called The Princess of Mars.
But you just said, see, that's one of the reasons why Disney took Princess out, because they thought guys wouldn't come see a movie.
Guys wouldn't go see it. And so they called it John Carter.
Well,
that's such a lame title for a movie.
They called it John Carter of Mars to begin with, and then changed it to John Carter. Because they said women wouldn't come see a movie about Mars. Plus, Disney had just had this Mars Needs Moms had flopped. So they said, we can't have Mars in the title. They gave this to a marketing team who did have nothing invested and was brand new. So, and so the guy who directed this, Andrew Stanton or whatever, he's the guy who did Finding Nemo and WALL-E.
Like it was great. The direction was great.
They said that he suffers from adult ADHD and that hurt some in it. But the previews of the movie had it like an 85% that they loved it. I
think if people see this movie, they enjoy it.
Okay. So here's something.
Okay.
Like a few weeks before this movie came out, Cowboys and Aliens came out.
See, I do think that that's part of the reason, because I was talking with someone about why I'm like, yeah, I'm reviewing this movie on a podcast with my dad. And they're like, didn't another movie that's just like that come out at the exact same time?
But I didn't know that came out.
Wasn't it like Jupiter Ascending? And I was like, it wasn't Jupiter Ascending.
No, it was Cowboys and Aliens. That was with Daniel Craig.
That movie was good.
Really? I didn't much care for it.
I like that movie. With the chest opened up and the creepy little hands came out when they're trying to get the kid.
I don't remember that part.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I have to go back and watch it. I have it. You got it for me.
I bought it for you. I liked it.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's
so I was like, I'll get it for Dad.
So listen, their intent was to make John Carter. They were going to make 3 movies. They were hoping that it would become the Indiana Jones of Mars. And
it could have.
Here's the deal. During all of this, Robert Iger, the CEO of Disney, was already in talks with Lucasfilms to purchase Lucasfilms. So they didn't need it. They didn't care. So
they did our man John bad, Dad. They did him dirty.
Yeah. So they took the name Mars out because they thought, just have Taylor Kitsch walk around without a shirt on. Girls will want to come and see that. So
I mean, he was shirtless on the original cover. He was just like standing on Mars shirtless.
Yeah.
And he was.
Yeah. So you think this should have been called? You think this should have been called? Because our friend Dave also believes it should have been called A Princess of Mars.
Yeah. I honestly
Why not John Carter and the Princess of Mars?
John Carter and the Princess of Mars would be good.
Because here's the deal. People were like, oh, there's a movie coming out called John Carter. And like, who's that?
Yeah. It's like, nobody knows who that is. It's not a famous person.
Right. Do you want to know what struck me crazy?
What?
I asked people today, they didn't know who Edgar Rice Burroughs was.
Is that the actor?
Like, no, oh gosh, Hannah Jo. Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote these books and Tarzan.
Yeah.
And our friend CJ is a director. He's a relative of CJ.
Oh, sick.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, here's the thing. This movie was fun. And I think part of the reason that this movie was fun is that going to see it for our family was an event. Like we drove and we traveled to go see it. I'm pretty sure we were the only ones in the theater. Hilarious. I don't think there was any.
Does that mean you got to run around?
And that means we got to run around and make some weird sounds.
We do that. If we're the only ones in the theater before the movie starts, we'll run around the theater.
We loop the theater making absurd sounds if we're the only ones in the theater. And I've done that. more than a handful of times.
Awesome. Good deal.
Even in my
Yeah.
adulthood, if I'm with friends and there's no one else in the theater, I'm like, get up, we're going for a run. And
That's hilarious.
I make them do around the theaters with me. But I remember when when this movie came out or when they were talking about it, they had, I don't know if it's true anymore, but they had them all downloadable for free on Amazon. And
What, the
you
books?
read all of the Princess
I
of
read
Mars
them.
books.
They weren't on Amazon that I read them. They were just on like a library app that you could just like a
And you just
free
downloaded
book
it to the
app.
Kindle app.
Free library. No, I downloaded. It was a different.
They were on my
it was
Kindle.
Just called, they were called free books. I don't know. It was just an app, and I read every one of these books on my iPhone.
You read all of them. Yeah,
Every
we should
one
have
of
gotten
them.
you an iPad such a long time ago.
I know, it's crazy.
But man, it's a
so
good.
why was it a good movie? So the plot of the movie is he helps the Civil War and falls in love with the princess.
Well, for 2012, the CGI was extremely believable.
Yeah, the creatures were great.
The creatures really held up. Like I was ready to
Tharks.
watch the Tharks. I was ready to watch this and be like, oh man. Ugh.
Deja Sojat.
And he
Tars
Hey.
Tarkus.
he cared, right?
Tars
Like,
Tarkus?
the John Carter character like cared a lot.
At the end, he did.
At the end, he did,
really-
and he fought well.
Yes.
And the
has a
storyline
good-
kept you intrigued because you like didn't know what to
Yeah.
expect.
Right. That's a good thing. Yeah. So it dealt with science and so we would say magic, but it really wasn't magic.
It was just
It was all
intelligence that no one understands yet.
right.
Kind of like Expanse. Like it feels
it
like
had-
magic, but it's just technology they don't understand yet.
So it had a good cast. I mean,
Jimmy
Bryan
Cortez.
Cranston. Well, yeah, that's the person you go to first. Daniel Sabra or whatever.
William
his name is.
Dafoe.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe is Tars Tarkus.
We
Bryan
were
Cranston
watching
from
it and
Breaking
Trevin
Bad.
was like, William Dafoe? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, that guy is voiced by William Dafoe. I'm a Google
Yeah.
it.
And Mark Strong. You know Mark Strong from The Kingsman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's-
Yeah. He
he's-
plays
He was the bad
Merlin.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the bad guy in it.
What
Um,
Dave mentioned is true too. Even like the creatures weren't weird looking. Like he
No,
had
the
a
dog,
dog
yeah.
that ran really fast, and he had to
Yes.
fight these two giant beasts.
Yes,
And-
they were good.
It
You're
was
right, for 2012,
very
that
it
was
was
some good.
very episode 2 Star Wars.
You think so?
It was. Parts of
Episode
it.
2 Star Wars.
Like them when they're like captured in that giant arena and they have to fight the bad guys, end up riding them.
Oh, you're episode 2.
Episode
I'm
2.
thinking, I know. I was
I
thinking
know
episode.
how
Oh, gosh.
Star Wars
Take that.
works, Dad.
Stop it. Stop it. You're right. It was
You
very
raised
much
me
like that.
correctly,
I know
sir.
I did. I raised you well. But Thomas Hayden Church was the bad Thark.
There were,
John Favreau was in it.
Who's John Favreau?
John Favreau was the voice of another Thark. He was in it. It's crazy the characters that were in it, and yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I liked the fighting.
It's campy.
I liked the Mark Strong's character. What were they called? They were the Therns.
the Therns.
The Therns, which were
They were
like
the bad guys.
The bad guys.
And they were setting up some lore that was going to be cool.
yeah,
They had really
Two
set
more-
up some lore that was going to be cool. Like,
two more
because
movies.
there was like a throwaway statement, which if it was just like one movie, it was a throwaway statement, but it would have been
And-
intentional later, like about how even when a planet is dying, there's still stuff to be won.
Dave in the chat has a very interesting point. And this is part of the reason why many people think that this movie wouldn't work, because this book was written 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And literally Star Wars, Indiana Jones,
Stole from it.
superhero, all took parts of these books and put them into their lore. So then even Dune,
Yeah.
I mean, all these creators. So when you go to put this movie out, even though it is the gold standard, this book is, everyone else says, well, I've already seen that.
It's your millennial daughter reading the introduction
I
of
thought the
Black
exact same
Panther
thing.
for the first time, being like, "This is so tropey and lame," and you're like, "This is the first time this has ever happened in anything."
Yeah, it's not tropey. This is what created it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There was a podcast episode where I read the introduction of Black Panther into the Fantastic Four, and he like made them fight him to like prove their worth.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four had to fight him to prove their worth. And I was like, this is so lame. Like this, like why? This is like overdone. And Dad was like, this is the first time that had ever been written, Hannah. And I was like, oh,
It's not overdone. It's the first.
it's
So this,
yeah.
go ahead.
That's a good point.
Okay. So we love this movie. This movie ends with him accidentally being taken back to Earth and left there. All the
It's not
things that he fought
accidental.
for-
The Thurn wanted him out of there.
Right. The Thurn wanted him out. I believe in the book he accidentally gets sent back to Earth.
Okay. In the movie,
And
he
in the book, he's trying to keep the air from disappearing around Mars. Which brings us to our comic book we read, which is called Strange Adventures. It's a 12-issue comic book series about a character named Adam Strange. Hannah, why did I pick this book?
Well, Dad, Adam Strange is a man of two worlds. And so is our guy, John Carter.
Did he just accidentally get shot into a completely different world?
And is now billions of light years away falling in love with the princess of the planet,
And then
fighting a
accidentally
war
get
for them.
shot back to Earth? Yeah, 100%. This Adam Strange was based on
Except Adam Strange.
character.
Can I ruin it? Are we
book?
ruining it? Are we spoiling Adam Strange?
Not the last book.
Okay.
Not the last 2 issues.
Dad.
Okay, let me preface this.
Woo!
This Adam Strange book is from the DC Comics, but it's called their Black Label, which, as a comic book collector would tell you, we don't have any clue what that means. Is it in continuity? Who knows?
No.
Does it matter? Who knows?
Eh.
Is this going to have ramifications in the future?
Probably not.
Who knows? Probably not. But this is written by Tom King, who I love. And he has a knack for taking sea-level superheroes, deconstructing them, and tearing their world apart and putting it back together some wackadoodle way.
Chef's kiss.
He has done that with The Vision. He has done that with Miracle Man, and Hannah and I read Miracle Man. He has done that with the one that he just finished was, oh gosh, I can't remember it. It was the one, I loved it. I kept talking, it was about the guy who would pretend he was somebody else and they would try to kill him. Human Target.
Yes.
He just finished it with Human Target. He does great. Anyway, so he does this with this character, Adam Strange. And just give the lowdown. What's happening in this?
Okay, so
set us up.
Adam Strange, it's a book that goes back and forth through different time periods. One is present day, and one is memory. They do it very interestingly in that there's 2 different artist styles as well. One is more
Same
like,
artist.
I know, but they're 2 different styles.
I know.
It's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
It's phenomenal. One is very like hyper like realistic, and one is more like traditional.
One's like really edgy looking.
One's like, and it's like fuzzy around the area.
Yes.
But it's the hyper realistic one. It's supposed to make it look like he's like actually there, and it's kind of like ruggeder. Whereas the other one is like crisper lines, more of like what you would expect from a traditional like comic. And what I think that was his real life versus what his like fantasy of what the past was.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think. Because
all right.
in how I'm reading it is that what we are seeing from the past is what he has written in his book.
Okay.
And it's like his perspective of what happened. But maybe
he didn't write the book.
His wife did.
His wife wrote the book. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
So this follows what happens is Adam Strange and his wife are on Earth promoting his book and explaining that the creatures who came to destroy their planet
Ran.
are on their way to Earth,
Yes.
and they're going to destroy Earth. They need Adam Strange to help them, or they won't be
And
able
the Justice
to
League needs him.
succeed.
Yeah. And he
And
like
the Justice League needs him. Yeah.
And he like called on the Justice League to like help him save Rand, but they wouldn't. And so he had
they
to do it
wouldn't
by
go.
himself.
Right.
But he did
So-
it. Dang it. He saved Rand.
Yeah. Did he? Kind of.
It felt very much like we don't talk about the blues or the purples from that one.
Oh, the Tom King again.
Is that Tom King?
Same writer. Yes.
It felt very
the
much like
Supergirl Woman
we
of
don't
Tomorrow.
talk like no purples.
Hey, why are we talking about all these Tom King books? We're doing a bunch on it. We should have him on
Hey.
our podcast. Tom,
Hey,
get on here.
Tom.
Anyway, yeah.
But it was
So- So what happens is a guy who interrupts him at a book signing is murdered.
Yeah, ends up dead.
And
They're like, you
Adam
did it.
Strange says, Batman, I need you to
Prove
find
I'm
out-
innocent.
to prove I'm innocent. I want you to go through and find everything that I did, and Batman's like, I can't do it, but I got this other character can. Had you ever heard of this other character?
I
Hannah?
hadn't.
Tell everybody who it is. Who is it?
I don't know what his name is. I can't remember. Like Truth
What was his
or
what was his
Faith
real name?
or
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
And he has these two little things that are always around him that have T's on them that are lasers, ? That ask him questions and he has to answer the question.
And he always gets them right.
He always
Except for
gets
the
them
one
right.
question they ask me a question I don't know. Did you catch that?
Yes. What was the question?
What was the sex of your unborn child?
Yes, man. Devastating.
That was
question.
harsh.
Devastating question.
Yes. So
So this
and
man
actually
has a desire for truth.
and fair play, because it's even on his outfit, on his jacket.
He
it
has
says
fair play.
Yeah.
And so he
And,
goes to Rand that's what I think feels very much like No Purples, is when he goes
Yeah.
to Rand to investigate what it was like.
And they're like,
what-
oh, we can't. Nobody here can translate the Pix language. He goes, I translated it on the way
I
here.
speak Pix. I learned how to do it. And we're like, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. There's a
What
part
are
in
the
the book.
Pix? Are they robots?
No, they're just an invading species. I mean, they're just a
That like
Like
a war species that just has it
war
down.
species. Yeah. That has war down, taking over planets. Yeah. And so what ends up happening is the Pix do come to Earth, and Adam Strange, we find out why their Pix are on Earth, what
Because
has
they-
happened to Adam
Yeah.
and his dead daughter,
hmm
and what happened on Rand, and
Wartime shenanigans.
and what happens during war. Yeah. And it is it's a mature book.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be high school maybe, but
Yeah.
there's some adult situations.
There's some
in it,
adult,
but
adult situations, adult themes.
yeah.
And man, whew,
So what did you think about it, Hannah?
I loved it.
Did you?
It was
I have
really
friends
fun.
who don't like this book.
I mean, it was hard.
Yeah,
And it was heavy.
it's not a book that you can just read one issue and think, oh, this is you have to sit.
You
it's
have to
better
get the
read
whole
this.
story. I think this is a thing that's better to read as a trade. I don't think this would have been fun to read as it was coming out.
Right. I agree. And I like the Mr. Terrific character. I like him in other comics.
Who doesn't
Actually,
like it?
Um,
Anybody I know?
They say it's just okay. Yeah, I think some people you know, but I'm not going to.
Okay, fair. I mean, I'm being a nosy little butt anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really did enjoy it. There have been very few comics that you've been like, let's read this, that I've just been like,
Yeah, I don't pick the bad ones.
no. You're
I'm not-
picking
why
ones
read? Why spend?
you like or that you think that I would enjoy as well.
Right,
So I pretty much
yeah.
enjoy everything that we've read.
Mhm.
And even
So-
if it's not my favorite, I'm glad to read something that you love.
What was
so it's always
your your perception of the wife at the beginning of this book through to the middle of this book?
I thought at the beginning that she was a little housewifey
Really?
vibes. Like It'll be fine. We'll get it taken care of. What can I do for you? I love you. I'm here to support you. And then it kind of trickled into, I'm my own person. I'm strong. I'm capable. I'm the person that's driving this train. You don't actually know diddly squat, my guy.
You like how she set up Mr. Terrific? She had a photographer take a picture, and they're like, then it's on the news that he's harassing them and everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
she knows what she's doing. She ain't here to play.
Smoking those cigarettes.
Not here to play. She does. She chain smokes cigarettes, man.
Because she can't. The air here is different than it is at home.
Dude, just go back to Ran.
Yeah, well, she was going back right at the end.
She does go back. Woo, man. Yeah. Another thing that I liked is they did this style when you're in present day where they do like 9 frames.
Oh yeah.
And
that's a classic
that
comic
style.
book thing. That's very big in the Watchmen comic. The 9 frames per page. Yeah, that's a classic comic thing.
They only did it though in the real
present
life.
Day.
In the present day sections.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do think, I stand by what I said. I think that the other portions where you're seeing the past is not like factual about what happened. I think it's their perception.
Honestly,
what happened.
I think about, it does have to deal a lot with war. So just as a trigger warning for some people, I mean, it's war torture. He was like a prisoner of war.
Yeah. And
what do you do when you're a
lot of it is
war?
if people are at war, what will you do to save? Yeah. What do you put up? Ethically, what do you put up with in wartime that you don't put up?
The episode of Star Trek Next Generation where they want him to say there are how many lights? 4 lights. Do you remember that? With Picard, and he says, how many lights are there? And he says, there are 3. But at the end, he was ready to say close. 4, but they rescued him.
Yeah.
And so it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could take a takeaway from the movie, what would you tell people?
Take away from the movie?
I mean, what would you tell them? Why should they watch that movie?
Because it's fun and it's a retelling of a story that has impacted so many other stories we hear today.
Yeah. And it's fun.
It's just fun.
And it's on Disney Plus. Watch it.
Movies are allowed to just be fun.
And it absolutely is. And Deja Sojat. And what do you think about this comic book?
I would say read it. It's heavy. If you're looking for something that is lighter, this one's not for you. If you're down with taking in a little bit of a heavier material and making yourself think about some things like Oppenheimer, like don't go watch that if you're just wanting a chill time of the movies. If you're wanting to like leave a place having to like ponder some things.
There you go.
It's a good book to read.
All right. Well, thank you guys. That's us. Hannah, tell everybody what's now.
Yes, sweet friends. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're so glad for you to be here with us. We think you should check out both of these things, John Carter and Strange Adventures. They were good. Our intro music was created and composed by Brockwell Nason. If you live in the Nashville area, he does concerts pretty much every Thursday in the summer months. He's a teacher, so going back to school soon. So if you want to catch him while the getting's good in the next couple weeks, you can follow him at Brockwell Nason Music on Instagram. My bro made our logo in Microsoft Paint. It is chef's kiss beautiful.
Yeah,
Thanks for doing that.
Share our podcast and rate and review. Give us 5 stars on Apple. Give me a holler, and I'll send you a free pen with our logo.
Pen.
Pen.
P-I-N.
P-I-N. Yeah.
P-I-N. We're from the South. Pen. Who knows?
Something you can put your pigs in with our logo on it. You did right with it with our logo.
Your pigs, sponsored by Sis and Big Pops Culture. I edit and upload our podcast, and Dad maintains our YouTube page.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks so much for coming and for joining us. And until next time, we will
catch you on the flippity flop.
Bye, guys.